love that beat. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Produced by yours. Actually, I can't even say yours truly. There's the man right there that produced that right there.
That's right,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
Imperial.
You got it. Yep. Hey, everybody. Once again, this is the BKBK podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Brian Taylor, Captain Kyle McKenna, and
Yo.
I know Kerry's in the car listening or something. Kerry Idris Taylor. All right,
he's picking strawberries or something.
He's picking strawberries.
I don't know.
He might be picking dandelions or something. No.
Strawberries.
It's for the beard.
It's
for the beard.
It's for the beard, huh?
It's for the beard.
Oh, the beard.
The beard.
Funny. Wow. Tell him to get that grooming kit and just work off of that. The beard. Love you, Kerry. I'm sure he's driving around listening to us. And, feel free to text in and give us some of your input, of course. But Kerry will be here for our next episode, all right? But for this episode, Team BKBK, all righty, we're going to focus and just revolve strictly around the NFL 2020 free agency, okay, from a Jets perspective. And what we're going to do today, we as individual hosts are going to put forth our own individual free agent approach and game plan respective to our own philosophies on how to
thine own.
Yes. Of basically on how to structure a team and building it back up. The team needs, salary cap we're going to include, so we're talking numbers as well.
Yeah.
And we're going to unpack things further through debate and analysis after we've presented our own philosophies, basically.
Every time you say unpack, I'm going to say ding. Love saying unpack.
Yeah, I do like saying it, right?
You love it.
I do? Really? Wow. And you know what? I'm not going to change it up. This is part of the kid, I guess.
Yeah.
The kid's identity.
Nor should you.
No doubt.
You say unpack. I always say be mindful of.
Be mindful of, huh?
I've been told I say that a lot.
Really, huh? You're being PC.
Yeah, you gotta be mindful of the fact that insert whatever I'm about.
Right. I guess with our fans growing and everything, they're getting to know us a little bit in some of our ways, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Thanks for the call out, Brian.
Of course. This is what I'm here for.
Now we got to figure out what Brian's thing is.
I know.
Ride him on.
So, all right. So we're going to focus on this.
Sure.
So we're really not going to talk about anything else other than this because I don't want to say unpack again, but we're really going to take it out the suitcase.
Yes.
And really just dive in.
Sure.
So, Act 1.
Yeah.
Let's present our case, okay?
And I read your case.
You read my case? No. Get out of here. It sucks. Get out of here. You know what I'm going to do? As a matter of fact, I'm going to start off.
It's not a Samsonite suitcase. I just want to tell you.
It's not. You know what it is? It's Gucci.
It's good.
Gucci. Gucci. You know what I'm saying? So here we go, guys. So the game plan that I used, or the format that I used a free agent simulation website called Manage the Cap at fanspeak.com.
Shout out to them, man. That's
man.
Pretty cool. A pretty cool tool, actually, when I got into it.
Yeah,
it's very in-depth.
between their draft simulator and their Manage the Cap app, which I think Brandon, you have had the most experience with at this point. It is some pretty cool stuff. I used the draft simulator a lot last year.
Yeah, man, definitely. It was awesome, and they
addicting.
put out. Yeah, it's man
Addicting.
because basically we're doing this show because we think that we're GMs,
right?
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
or better GMs than the ones that we've had over the last decade or two or three.
I'll tell you this right now. I know I'm a better GM than McCagnon.
McCags?
And Idzik.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All righty. So, please.
It's not hard, though.
No, it's not. Not at all. So
I feel like I have a better eye for talent.
That
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
But
Kyle is more the director of player personnel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scouting everywhere. XFL games. You know what I mean? This guy's everywhere scouting talent.
Always. This guy keeps a suitcase packed.
Oh, yeah.
And he never unpacks.
Does he look like a scout? He looks like a scout, too, doesn't he?
Does he look?
I got all kinds of fast food bags on like the floor of the car.
Definitely. And you know what? If he goes down south, he's Chick-fil-A. If he goes to the west, He's what's that famous thing out west? They make a good burger.
In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger. He gets it animal style.
Oh yeah,
you know,
he's food regional, definitely, definitely.
You know, he gets his Pete's
Full
coffee.
regional.
I guarantee you drink a lot of Pete's coffee now that you're in Seattle, and you're not doing the cliche Starbucks thing. You're doing like Pete's.
Well, I mean, it's really Starbucks makes it really hard because they're everywhere. There's like 4 Starbucks within like a mile of my house.
Right.
Aren't they based in Seattle too?
They started in Seattle.
Yeah. And then, but actually today, for the West Indians out there,
Lord of mercy.
I
Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, more fire.
Yes, I splurged, and it's my birthday is this week, so I went out and I bought myself a little present of a pound of Blue Mountain coffee.
Nice.
And I made sure I got the real stuff, not the fake blend that they try to sell you in the supermarket for cheap.
Yeah.
I went right to the estate. I went right up in the mountains.
Yeah, man.
And I'm drinking it right now, and it is absolutely outstanding.
So you probably got someone named Donovan or Neville to help you out and ship that off.
Mavis. It's the Mavis Bookings Estate or something like that.
That is such a Jamaican name.
Wow, Mavis.
Mavis.
Huh? Wow.
Mavis.
Yeah.
That's like a lady's name. Mavis, or you also have like Shirley.
Shirley, yeah, definitely.
Dawn. Mary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Rita.
Funny.
Rita. And then if you're a dude, it's Trevor, Nigel, Winston.
Winston.
Yeah,
Winston.
You know, Brandon.
Yeah, but nobody gets called by their name. They all have a nickname.
Yeah.
Like like some sort of derivative nickname in which nobody even knows that Winston was their first name in the first place because nobody ever calls him that.
You know what my father's Junior.
Junior.
Headley Walker, Jr.
Yeah.
That was his name, Junior. He lived on my block. My father's nickname growing up, it was Clumsy Phillips. Hey, Clumsy. So if you hear, if my father has his friends around and stuff and somebody calls him Clumsy, they knew him way back when they were like youngsters. So
okay.
Clumsy Phillips, what happened to you, man? So anyway, sorry.
We're all over.
What was the Lynn brothers? You had Peter,
Chris, and Greg.
But they called Greg Bubs.
Oh, he was Bubs, huh?
Yeah, nobody ever called him Greg.
Oh, okay.
It's always Bubs. Yo, Bubs, come over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, sorry guys. Hey, listen, we gotta we get thrown off course a little bit, but we're back on,
They're all on the free agency list.
Exactly.
All the Lynn brothers.
Bubs, Clumsy, all on the free agent list.
That's right.
But it's the free agent list for cricket.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a Jamaican draft. Right?
Totally. Yeah. So, so like I said, we used FanSpeak, and we all wanted to put our GM hats on and get as close to sitting in the Joe Douglas chair as possible when dealing with who to cut, who to re-sign,
sure,
and who to acquire while dealing with a realistic budget, okay? And speaking of realistic budget, the Jets right now, I looked it up, have approximately 50 to 55 million under the cap right now as we speak. This is before making any cuts. And then with the cuts that we are anticipating, which we can talk about and debate further as we progress on, it can climb to as much as approximately 80 to 85 million under the cap with certain cuts. So I'll start it off if you guys don't mind. I have my cut list.
Did you want to take it bucket by bucket, like cuts, and then or you wanted to go through the entire thing and then move to the next fellow?
If you guys have something to say after, let's go
bucket by bucket.
Let's go cuts, and then you guys can jump in with your say cuts, and then we can go to who we should re-sign.
Right.
We'll do the round table there, and then after that, free agent acquisitions. All right.
I think it's a good way to do it too, because Brandon has a lot of foundational research on hand too.
Copy that.
Yeah. So.
Sure thing,
let's
man.
Do that.
Let's do it. All righty. So we're at approximately 50 to 55 million in cap space right now. If you guys want to get out your calculators to make sure all the math is right, what I have here with the cuts that I am anticipating and not even anticipating, what I'm hoping for, we should add on approximately 31 to 32 million onto the 50 to 55 million, so we could end up at approximately, mid 80s as far as what we have under the cap. So the first dude I want to cut, we're talking cut list. The first dude that I want to cut, hands down, Trumaine Johnson. Okay?
Agreed.
No disagreement from anyone.
Anyone here.
On that one.
So basically, we are going to be, in the red with him a little bit. I think we'll end up
$12 million in dead money.
12 million in dead money and saving $3 million.
Yep.
So I'm just looking at savings. We have to get rid of this guy.
And it's a roster spot too. I mean, the dude is terrible. At the end of the day, I mean, he just hasn't played well for us. One of the worst signings ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Right? So you just got to, open up a slot for somebody who actually wants to play corner for the New York Jets and play it well.
You got to cut your losses.
You also couldn't cut him last year, because if you cut him last year, the dead money and the savings would have been even worse than it is now.
Sure. Yeah.
So when we really look at this roster as it is right now, with the cuts and the re-signs, we put a lot of cheap, Kerry Taylor cheap labor on the field last year. And I think it might be worth it for us to take a look at what some of the salaries of starters that we had last year were.
Yeah.
In comparison to somebody like Trumaine Johnson, who's $12 million, but $3 million against the cap.
I think it would have been too early to get rid of Trumaine last year, because he's been with us 2 years, going into year 3 now. But now there is just no question marks whatsoever. He needs to go. At least we've thoroughly evaluated him for 2 straight seasons, and he's just not a good cornerback. And you know what? I don't mean to pat myself on the back. I never wanted him. Go to the videotape and check it out. I stated that when we first started the show. Never wanted him.
Who'd you want, Logan Ryan?
This year, yeah.
Well, yeah. The year where we signed him, I forgot. You wanted another Patriots cornerback. But
yeah, it was the other one who ended up signing to Tennessee. What's his name?
He's not that good either.
No, he's not that good, but he would have been better than this dude.
It's the one that was that broke up the pass in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
and I forget his name.
The fact that we forget his name means that he's not
exactly.
really that good.
And I never looked at him as a number 1. I looked at him as a really good number 2.
Right.
And I was willing to put 2 2s out there rather than, one that's question mark 1, and then just, trying to find, going through the garbage and finding someone else. But anyway, so Trumaine Johnson saves us $3 million.
Agreed.
Brian Winters, offensive guard for the New York Jets, right guard.
I think we'll all agree with him too.
Yes, $7.5 million. If we cut him, we'll save. No money lost. No dead money. 7.5 gone. He's got to go.
Well, I think the other thing with Brian Winters is we want someone else to be playing the position that he played.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether we cut him or not, we don't want him in our starting lineup.
Exactly.
And I think we talked about this on the group chat.
Yeah.
We are looking for 3 starters on the O-line next year. Is everybody in agreement on that?
At least.
In total agreement, and I got 3 starters for you. I can't wait until we get down this list.
When I say, well, yeah, I guess at least, but we're talking about if you re-sign and then we're talking about 3 starters from free agency in the draft.
Yes.
So we should re-sign at least 2 of our guys. Who those guys are, I guess we'll get to.
Understood. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So now, here's a question mark. I mean, I'm gonna say Avery Williamson. I like him a lot. But also I've seen the development of our inside linebacker Neville, who I happen to like a lot. Plays great. I also like our draft pick, our 5th round draft pick out of the University of Minnesota, Blake Cashman. I think he's a very good inside linebacker. He tweaked his shoulder, ended up missing the end part of the season, going out hurt. But I think all of our inside linebackers, and there was another inside linebacker who played really well.
Is it Burgess?
Burgess, yeah.
Burgess, yes, yes. So I'm looking at it. They're all so much cheaper than Avery Williamson, and Avery Williamson is coming back from an ACL tear. I like the guy a lot, but we've sunk so much money into Mosley. I think the other guys at just a third of the cost can play inside linebacker next to Mosley and fill in more than adequately. So I'm sorry, Avery, but I'm going to have to cut you and save $6.5 million. I'm sorry about that. Moving on.
What if you look at
Go ahead.
what if you look at Avery Williamson, and this is one that I struggled with because I look at this manager and I say, do I really want to cut somebody who we brought in as a high end free agent the year before we signed Mosley? And maybe we want to think about it as if we cut him and we get that 6.5 back, that is on a free agent edge that we're spending that money. So we're reallocating that money into a different part of the field.
Yeah.
Rather than that linebacker core, who I think that you put it really well, how well developed those guys are. Now, are they ready for prime time guys? Like if we're going to have an elite defense?
I don't think so.
I don't know. And Neville Hewitt is not a first year player. I mean, he was a free agent acquisition too.
Right.
So
was Burgess.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think they played really well. You know, CJ Mosley is not coming back from like a traumatic. He's coming back from a bad groin, right? Like a torn groin.
Correct.
So Avery Williamson coming back from a torn ACL, whereas I might have not wanted to cut him a little while ago. I think that I'm more in your camp now.
Copy.
Yeah.
For those reasons.
And I think I don't agree with that. I think you keep Avery Williamson. I think you had an opportunity to really see, well, you missed out on an opportunity to see them, Mosley and Williamson, because of injury, not play side by side. Besides the preseason games, and the preseason games that we saw both of them in there, it looked special.
Yeah.
It looked special.
It did.
And
it did.
I think Williamson is cerebral. He brings something different to the table that the other guys just don't bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with them together, you need at least a year to see what that would look like. Now he's coming off an injury, so you got to see what he looks like. And I don't know if you cut him third game of the preseason,
and it happened in August too, so he should have a good amount of time to recover.
Yeah, plenty of time to recover. But I want to see that on the field before I make any, judgments on whether or not I want to cut the guy at this point. And I also think that some of the stats from a running perspective on the defensive side of the ball was because people could pass on us so easily on the outside that they didn't run the ball on us. Mm-hmm. So I think our inside linebackers look good because people weren't running on us, because it was like, why am I going to do that if I know I can throw it 10, 12 yards down the field every single play? So that's why I feel like our inside linebackers look so good, because they weren't as tested.
Okay, so
good point.
And very good point. And like I said, this kind of hurts me to have to do it, but $6.5 million.
Yep.
When we add this all up at the end of my little soliloquy here, just put that into consideration. So for people who don't want to cut him, subtract $6.5 million from this total number that I have here, and then when we move on into free agency or re-signing and then free agency, then
see what the opportunity lost is.
Exactly. So
I think
go ahead.
I think also going on what Brian's saying too, it's like you have to pick the guys that you want to roll on with, because you can't pick all of them. You can't keep all of them.
Right.
And I think that's what the cap manager kind of shows you, that like, hey man, you're going to need to make some decisions here. You can't, stay with something. There's like a little bit of a sunken cost fallacy here. I know that with Quincy Enunwa, which I think you're going to bring up in a minute.
Yeah.
That's somebody that I feel like the cap number is so small. I feel like I have a little bit of fear of, that will work out for somebody else when we've invested so much time in it. But like we're saying here, we're going to have to make some tough decisions.
Sure.
And I might be leaning more towards the Avery Williamson one now that we've talked about it a little bit.
All right.
But I see what you're saying, Brian.
Yep. Let's see. So we just spoke about Avery. Darryl Roberts, cornerback, $6 million. He's out of there like Vladimir.
Gone.
Yeah, his name is Steven, and he's leaving.
But who you have to have starters though, right?
Sure.
So who are your projected starters if you cut a Darryl Roberts and a Nate Hairston?
Yep, and you know what? Since Kyle, you jumped to Nate Harrison, I I do have him being cut as well, and he saves us $2.1 million. Darryl Roberts saves us $6 million.
And you do go out and you find a free
you go
agent
out and you
that's
find
better.
and then you still have, if you check the roster, you still have guys on the team that I think will play better than Darryl Roberts.
Yeah,
you know?
Bless Austin is definitely, to me, a starter on the outside.
Absolutely.
Right, so you have
You
him
know-
as one.
You know what Bless Austin's cap number is?
500,000 or something like that.
It's 503,000. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. So you throw him out there and say, hey,
Yeah.
hey, guy, it's your position. Now go and do what you're supposed to do with it, which means, do what you did on the second half of 2019 and go make plays. Go make plays. So now you got one on the outside. I feel like the other outside person you're going to get from free agency, and we'll talk about that later as far as who I want to target. But I feel like you have to. Now, Poole is the other issue, as far as you re-signing Poole on the inside. He did play well.
He played extremely well, not just well. He played extremely well.
Okay. I'd like to look up, a little bit how extremely well he played, but
Well, he played way better than your man that we had last year.
that's not saying much, man.
That's true.
The Buster?
Who bust
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
screen?
yeah. I know,
No, but
it's not saying much.
He did play
mean,
very, very
He
well.
played well. He
Yeah.
played well. I'm not.
Very well, I'm going to say. You say well,
I
I'm
say
saying
well.
I'm saying very
I say well.
Did Bless Austin play well enough to be the starter? I mean, didn't he get benched at the end of the year?
He got
by
benched
Greg
the
Williams?
last game of the season for a blown assignment. He gave up a touchdown, but up until that point, he played very well. I'm not going to add two verys. He played very well.
So Brian, his PFF would be
71.4 is what it was,
Who, Poole or
all
for
right, so-
and that's for Bless Austin. 71.4.
check
and
out
where
Poole?
does that put him? Where does that put him in the rankings of overall corners?
Couldn't tell you. I didn't.
I mean, if it's-
I didn't pay for the professional version of it. Sorry.
If it's top 32, if it's top 60, then it's potentially righteously a starter. Correct? Is that the way that we would see it? Based on snaps.
I think, I don't know about Poole. I got to look him up. But listen, he was our best or second best corner all year, and he
Right.
only started like 4 or 5 games. So I think you give him an opportunity and throw him out there.
Yeah.
I think
And
you
Poole-
draft
and
a corner.
Poole-
I think you draft a corner. That's something. Again, it was one of the weakest. It's the weakest position we had on the defensive side of the ball. So you're going to address it in the draft somehow.
We were strong up in the
Right.
middle, on the
Yeah.
outsides, wherever we went. Either it's edge or cornerbacks, we were weak.
Weak.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're going to invest from free agency. You're going to invest from the draft perspective as well. So I'm okay with him being my top corner at this point in time, and then maybe trying to re-sign Poole, right? Depending on how much
Yeah.
money he's going to want.
I don't know if you're saying maybe re-sign Poole. It's so hard to find a slot corner. I think we definitely have to re-sign Poole.
Well, you're also talking about paying your slot corner way more than your starting corner, which is
Yeah.
maybe it's lucky on our part.
Well,
the drafting or the personnel, player personnel that we did.
I will tell
mean,
you how much more that will cost.
He graded out as a 79, Brian Poole.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. So, All right, so let's carry on. So I said Darryl Roberts, he's got to go. Do you
Yeah.
agree, Kyle, right? He's got to go? Cornerback Darryl Roberts, $6 million in savings?
I think that if I have to decide between Hairston and Darryl Roberts, I'm gonna let Darryl Roberts go, probably because of the cap number.
Got you. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Then wide receiver Josh Bellamy, who was just special teams. He made no impact offensively on our team, and not that much of an impact on special teams either.
He's out of here.
He's gone. Saves us $2.5 million.
Yeah, and we want to draft at least 1 or 2 receivers that we
I want 2.
we want to play receiver.
Yes.
Not kickoff coverage.
Yeah.
Like Sharon Peak or Vincent Smith or those guys. So we can make room for receivers because we're going to sign some.
Vincent Smith is getting very good reviews, by the way.
Yeah, he looked good out there.
He's 6'3", about 206 pounds. He's fast, he's athletic, and he's got good hands. He's a young player, and they're saying that just people around the league are saying that he has potential to be a weapon. We need to surround him with more weapons so that we're just not solely focused on him, and he can kind of just grow at a natural rate with other players that are really good and grow kind of comfortably, you know. But I'd like to hang on to him.
Is he your 1, 2, or 3 receiver?
He's my 3.
So on your current setup right now, he's
On my
your
current,
3?
he's like, you know what? No, he's not my 3. He would be my 4.
Yeah,
he'd be my 4.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a fourth receiver is a special teamer.
He can be special teams. That's
spot,
fine.
And a spot receiver.
Spot starter. Yep.
Especially if we do so much tight end stuff, and Chris Herndon is one of our guys. You know, so I see Crowder as our number 2/3. But if we don't sign Robbie Anderson, he's our number 1 receiver right now.
Sure.
So we have to fill in the number 1 spot. We probably have to fill in the number 2 spot too, because I think that Crowder is really a number 3. If we use Bell better at the slot this coming year, we're back to what we were talking about last year.
And based on Gase's offense, he uses the slot a lot. Right, a lot.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So you got Crowder. He's probably the de facto number 1 as far as the amount of targets that he's going to see.
First game of the season, 14 catches, 99 yards. Remember that?
Yeah. So as far as the amount of touchdowns, there might be some difference there if we get a true number 1 wide receiver on the outside. But Crowder is going to be the de facto person to soak up a lot of those targets anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but then when you have Herndon really in the mix, then he's gonna be a potential 10 target a game guy too.
Yeah.
And
don't forget about Griffin. Griffin has proved his worth. He got an extension, and he can be one of those touchdown machines as well and catch almost as many balls as Herndon. Like, he's that productive of a tight end. At least he showed that last year. I have full belief and faith in him.
But without the targets on the outside to draw people from the middle, none of that works.
Exactly.
Right. So we definitely need to draft to that and free agent, spend some capital towards a 1 and 2 on the outside. Yeah.
You need 2 people that are going to stretch the field and potentially garner man-to-man coverage or bracketed coverage so that you have people occupying, you have 2 to 3 people occupying 2 receivers. Yeah. And if you can get that going, then that really opens up stuff for the underneath Herndon Crowder stuff. So, I think we all agree maybe that's a Judy, maybe that's a CeeDee Lamb. And if Brandon's plan comes to fruition, we have a starting tackle in free agency, and we can really take a shot at one of those top flight receivers with first pick.
Just going back to the cornerback position for a second, Darryl Roberts, Pro Football Focus, 56.6, and Nate Hairston, 55.2.
That's why I have him on my cut list.
Exactly.
If you're going 56 and 55, one's $6 million and one's $2 million, then
they both go. There's 8.
I
cut them both, and then you got an 8. Get out of here.
But hey, Kyle, I see your logic, and it does make sense. It does. But as we continue on, and you can check the roster for other cornerbacks that we have on our roster too, which I think would fill in just fine and be cheaper than, say, Nate Hairston.
I think I can go out there and do a 55.
I think the receiver position and the corner position are similar to look at as far as like outlook, because the tight ends and the slots, they relate to the safeties. All right, so you probably have about as much on either side as you. So we're looking at maybe we need 5 corners, like 4 or 5 corners with 1 specialist in the slot, and that's all I'm saying with that is that we can't cut everybody that we have.
That's true,
because we're gonna need 2 or 3 of those bodies.
So it's like O-line too. I mean, listen, if we're really getting down to it, we have one of the weakest rosters. We knew this coming into this free agency period. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a problem that we have. Our coffers are bare, And so now we're going to have to go out there, and Douglas is going to have to earn his money. So, but we can't keep dead weight just to have a body in that position. I'd rather get somebody that we're drafting in the 6th or 7th round of the draft and not pay him $500,000 and slap him out there if he can throw a 55 up there. Right?
On my list here, I'm cutting 3 cornerbacks. Tremaine, he's got to go. Darryl Roberts, I think he's got to go.
Yeah.
And I'm cutting Nate Hairston. But I'm also keeping Bless Austin. I'm keeping Kyron Brown. Kyron Brown only cost $583,000.
Sure.
And let's see who else. Bless, Kyron, and then we got to sign some people. We got to sign at least 3 more.
Right.
I mean, if you sign Poole and you keep those 2, those are your starting corners until you draft. And that means, I look at that and I say we got to draft. Our first pick should be a corner.
All right,
no way.
No way.
You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I'm saying, though? I'm just saying that.
This is what I'm saying.
That's the desperateness of the situation.
And I know I'm going out of order here a little bit,
but
this is the reason why I don't feel so bad is because one of the free agents I would go after, probably the number 3 free agent, is Byron Jones, cornerback of Dallas. Right? So if you put him on the outside, you feel really good about one side, Bless Austin on the other, and you got Poole. So now you're not pressured in order for you to spend a first-round draft pick on a cornerback. I would feel solid with those top 3 folks then fill out the rest of the roster with some folks via free agency on the bottom of free agency, but more importantly, through the draft.
Yeah. I hear you. So let me just keep moving on, and we'll address that further down the line. So we said Josh Bellamy's gone, $2.5 million savings.
Out of here.
Kyle, this one is for you. I want to get rid of Quincy Enunwa. I want to get rid of him. I like the kid, but he's not. Hey, listen, you can't be a great player without not being available, and he's just not really available. And we would save $2.4 million. All these 2.4s, 2.5s, 2.1s. These numbers add up. So we just got rid of Bellamy, 2.5, Quincy, 2.4, Hairston, 2.1. That's like $7 million, right there. Boom. Yeah, I have to give myself a little breather to do the math real quick.
I don't agree. I say it's pending physical.
Oh, with who?
With Enunwa. I think Enunwa is pending a physical.
I think we can
find
healthy? Somebody.
Is he ready? Is he ready to play?
Right.
I think is a big part of it.
I think we can find someone out there or draft someone just as good. But go ahead, Kyle. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole bunch of $660,000 guys on our team with the Braxton Berrios and the Vincent Smiths.
He's not on my team. Braxton's out of there too.
All right. Well, I mean, that's again, you're getting rid of
Tony Braxton.
We had Curtis Martin back when Tony Braxton.
Funny.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. So the thing with Braxton Berrios is that he's giving you a lot of production in special teams for $600,000.
I keep him.
I disagree, Kyle. I disagree. I don't think he's giving us any a lot of production. I'm looking at him. Who's Brian's favorite?
The numbers.
Brian's favorite kick returner. I'm speaking in jest.
Andre
you
Roberts?
Stand him. No, not Andre Roberts.
No, loved him.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Terrence Cannon?
Nah. No. He ended up playing receiver for San Francisco. Little dude, kick returner. All he did was fair catch. Didn't really do much of anything. Not Curse. Not Javon Curse.
No, it'll come to you. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I hated watching him. All he did was fair catch the whole time.
That reminds me of Braxton.
He was the third receiver for years. Cotchery.
No, it wasn't Cotchery.
Nah, I love Cotchery.
No, it wasn't Cotchery. Oh man.
But anyway, I'll find him. I'm looking him up.
All right. So now, so we spoke about Enunwa Hairston already, and there's a safety. I'm like, who's this dude? Blake Countess.
Yeah, I cut that guy.
$1.2 million. He's a safety.
Got to cut him just because you don't know him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Braxton Berrios. He's only $660,000. I'm cutting him anyway.
I keep him.
So that's the end of my cut list. Okay. And so, hey, if you're going to keep them, write it down, because now what I just saved, right?
Write it down.
Write it down. What I just saved us here as the Jets GM, Brandon A. Phillips, $31.86 million added to the cap now.
36. All right, so
31.86.
So why aren't you cutting any of these like Trenton Cannons and like Kenneth Dixon, like all these like $500,000 guys that we could probably re-sign for training camp if we wanted to, and you know, at a league minimum if they were bodies that we needed to fill out the end of depth charts.
I'll tell you what, that's why there's a little bit of between 80 and 85 because I had to kind of go out yesterday. So I did this on the site, and then when I came home at like 9-something at night, it was almost 10 o'clock, I did it again, and Trent Cannon was gone. You know, I cut him, and there were a couple other people, like some guy named Willis, who's an edge on our team.
What you talking about?
No, actually, Willis actually played a lot at the end of the year. He was number 60. I remember, you know, saying who the heck is number 60. He played D-line.
Don't ever wear that as an edge. I can't stand that.
Yeah,
First name is what you're talking about?
He got signed off the street. Yeah, well, when you get signed off the street, you get whatever number is left.
Okay, well, just to add on then, and I don't have the time to do the math, but I'm looking at the list here. Ahmad Goodson, edge, we'd save $586,000. I'll cut him. Mike White, QB, $586,000. I'd cut him. Keon Hatcher, wide receiver, $512,000. I'd cut him.
Listen,
Josh Malone.
Listen,
I cut him too.
You can name 15 names and you'd save like $4 million. So what do we really need to go?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We don't need
that's why I made this list as far as what pops to us. You know what I mean? So yes. So moving on next. So now we're gonna go to our re-sign list. So like I said before, 31 approximately, right? With a little bit of buffer, 31.86 million added to the cap. Okay, so that brings us up to the between 80 and 85 mil, right?
Yep.
For our GM Brandon A. Phillips to work with.
Terrible.
Yeah, I love it. All righty. So our re-sign list. So I went through the site, and the funny thing is, this is what I love about the site. You'll propose a deal, and if you don't propose it the right way, they'll reject it, and then sometimes they'll just go ahead and sign with another team. So the pressure is on you as a GM to throw out the right deal if you really want someone and hope that they're available for, say, day 2 of free agency or day 3 for free agency, which puts the pressure on you. So this is the aspect that I really, really like. So I went out there. I said, I want Alex Lewis. Okay, Alex Lewis. And I offered him $5 million a year. Alrighty? And with like keeping like I think 50% of it or something like that. That's how you determine a whole.
Did he take it?
He took it, and the cap hit is only $3.5 million. I've offered him $5 million a year for 4 years, by the way.
Great negotiator, B.
Yeah.
Take it in.
Yeah.
Seriously.
All right.
Did you try to negotiate with Robbie Anderson?
Nope. I'm letting Robbie Anderson. I'm letting Robbie Anderson go.
I'm gonna do it right now.
All right, man.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
How much do you want to offer Robbie Anderson?
All right. I don't want to offer him anything, but since we're doing this, I'll offer him
$10
million.
Fine,
okay.
$10 million. By the way, I heard he wants 14. He's not going to settle for the 10, but we'll see what it says on
Take
Fanspeak.
it or leave it. I'm not giving him 14.
But now, Kyle, you have to offer him well, he's 27 years old. Offer him 4 years.
Okay, so 4 years.
And then
how much do you want to guarantee?
45%. 45%.
Sounds like Jay-Z laughing right there, bro.
You don't want to. You want to go 55%?
You can go for it. I mean, go ahead.
No, this is us doing it right now.
Yeah. I know. I already.
Well,
you know what?
If it's up to him, he wouldn't be on the roster in the first place.
Exactly.
So it's really me and you, Kyle.
Yes.
I would offer him the 10 mil, and I would say 55. I'll go with that. 55% guaranteed. Let's go.
All right. Let's see what it says.
All right. Let me get the 55 is up.
Let me get some reaction shots from everyone.
The offer is accepted.
It's accepted. Wow.
Yes.
Let's go, baby.
Yes.
Let's go.
So maybe Robbie Anderson is playing a little bit of possum, and he likes playing for Adam Gase, and he loves the offense. He loves what we could do. I'm happy to sign. Let's go, Sam Darnold. Let's go, New York Jets.
Now, Kyle, what is the cap hit on that now? Because it'll tell you.
Okay, where is it going to say that? Because it didn't say it.
You know what? You have to advance to the next page. Yeah. To see what the cap hit is. So we can keep going through this, and then you can kind of add on, and then the next page it'll show you, because they make you do the re-signing first before we get into actual free agency.
It's a $7 million cap hit for Robbie Anderson.
$7 million. Okay, all right. $7 million.
That's very
cap hit.
feasible.
Yeah,
that makes me keep number 11 in a Jets jersey right there. $10 million a year, 4 years.
Brandon's like meh.
I am like
No,
man.
but that's.
I wish
it's
Kerry was
2.
here with me right now.
It's not number 1 money.
No, it's not.
No,
It's not.
It's not number 1 money.
It's
and then
not.
you draft your future number 1. Think about that. CeeDee Lamb, Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder, Chris Herndon,
maybe an Unwa in there too.
Vincent Smith. No, I'm just kidding.
It's funny.
I don't know. You guys are high on Vincent Smith. I see.
Listen, I'm
not saying I'm
I
high
see
on the
him
dude.
as-
I'm not giving him the $14 million a year,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's a body. He's
you're gonna make the roster.
all these dudes that are covering kicks, they're not going to be covering them anymore once the NFL goes to the XFL kickoff model.
That's true. That's a whole nother discussion, whole
Watch
nother
that.
episode.
That's coming. Yes, it is.
All right.
So I think I would take that in a second.
Okay.
If that
So
was
you
the
know what?
case.
If you're doing math on your own, just subtract 7 million. So you're subtracting 7 million. You're subtracting because you want to keep Braxton Berrios, what, $660K, and then
But before we go any further, though,
go ahead.
are you re-signing Jamal Adams? Because that wasn't anywhere in this negotiation, but would significantly affect the cap.
That is correct. I absolutely would re-sign Jamal Adams, but he's only he's going into year 4, so they're not necessarily obligated to re-sign him.
But the question
Yet.
is, are you? Because this Brandon A. Phillips here.
Yes,
So are you re-signing him now?
for the third time. No, now?
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah. Yeah, I would. And you know what? That's why at the end of this, you're going to see how much money I have left over for things such as this, re-signing and filling out the roster with other, basically to fill out the roster, So
why do you resign? Why do you resign people early? You do it so that you can lock them in and that you can
and get them
minimize the
cheaper.
cap hit. Yeah, you minimize it. Well, not necessarily cheaper, but with a more well-structured deal that doesn't affect your cap as bad. You have a lot more leverage in an early re-signing to affect your cap positively than if you're behind the 8 ball and you're waiting for somebody might hold out for training camp or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think if you're intending on keeping Jamal Anderson here or having a contract in which you can trade him easier.
Yeah. And you know
You
what?
sign him early.
I 100% agree. Maybe I should have used the term more cap friendly rather than say cheaper, but that's what I was going for. And absolutely, he's the leader and identity of our team that doesn't have an identity without him. So I definitely want to re-sign him. I love the kid. He's the best safety in the league.
So to that point, as a benchmark, you have Landon Collins, who signed last year as a free agent,
Right.
$84 million deal,
Mm-hmm.
$44 million in total guarantees, and a $15 million signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
As an FYI, right? So I know he's trying to get that number 1 spot, safety, based on All-Pro status last year.
Yep.
And making the Pro Bowl the year before.
Yep.
So just to give you an idea what that looks like. Now, I don't know how you structure that. He may have a lower cap hit than this deal or the deal that he currently has in place, right? So we might end up in a positive cap scenario based on how we structured the deal. But I wanted to make sure that we kept this on the radar because that's definitely out there, especially based on the trade deadline stuff, bad blood that happened. Now we're in a good place at this point, but it sounds like they're at the negotiating table and this deal might get done.
Good.
I think the other thing we have to remember at the free safety position too is that Marcus May came in the same year as Jamal Adams.
Sure.
So if we are going to try to keep both of them together, he's going to have to be a consideration too. He has not been on the field as much as Jamal Adams has,
and hasn't performed as well as Jamal Adams has.
No,
he hasn't, but he has been like when you look at you're building a defense, communicators, people that can direct things from the back end. Marcus May has been there the entire time.
I agree.
with Jamal Adams, and
Not
they've
the
been
entire
building that
time.
thing.
Not the entire time. He's had some injury issues.
Shoulder.
He's missed some time. So for
The
me,
duration of contract.
okay, yeah, duration of
Not the
contract. Sure.
entire time.
Sure. So if it's a rookie contract and it's a 5-year deal, if you're I don't know because he's second round, right? So that might be a 4-year
deal,
right?
He's
4-year.
It's a 4.
So I'm waiting until the end of that 4th year in order to negotiate with him at that point.
Yes.
That's just based on performance and how many games he's actually been on the field.
And I'm
If
going to
he's
try
healthy-
to
if he's
proactively
healthy,
sign
I
him.
like both of them.
Oh yeah, I mean
Same here.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep that tandem together, and I will proactively try to sign him.
Right.
Absolutely. I like that tandem. I like it a lot. So my next, I want to re-sign Jordan Jenkins. The man had every year that we've had him, he's increased his sack total. He reminds me of Calvin Pace as far as setting the edge. He's good that way against the run. And he ended the season with 8 sacks. And I proposed a deal to him. He accepted it. $7.5 million a year. It's not the best money for, say, a high-end edge, but he's not a high-end edge. He's just a good edge with room to grow. So $7.5 million a year, and the cap hit is 5.25 for what I proposed. I forget what the percentage is that I offered him. I should have written that down. But it works out to be 5.25 against the cap. That's Jordan Jenkins.
You're roughly giving him just about $1 million for every sack he gets.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm saying that I agree with you on this because I think that Jordan Jenkins is stout against the run. He has trended up every year. There hasn't been a decline in his ability. He's played in many different fronts. Between the Todd Bowles era and the Greg Williams stuff. So he is I actually think that he was pre-Bowles, wasn't he?
Yes. No, this is only his 4th year. No, he came in when Bowles was here.
Jordan Jenkins is only his 4th year?
I
Holy
believe so.
mackerel.
Yeah.
I thought that he's been here. It feels like he's been here longer.
It does feel that way, right?
Yeah.
But I think that he is very, very suitable. Very, very consistent. I would love to see his sack total continue to trend up.
Yeah.
To like that double digit area, but I think that happens if you put somebody on the other side that is a formidable guy. I think it's like you get that addition when you have to worry about setting protections to 2 guys that could actually get to the quarterback. So nobody's ever going to be scared of him as a pass rusher.
Yeah, I think we're going to have problems getting this $7.5 million a year done. I really do. So
you think he's going to turn it down?
Yes, I do. So you have Zadarius Smith, Green Bay linebacker, right? Came over as a free agent, I think, from Baltimore. Now his
numbers are better than Jenkins' numbers.
Not necessarily. I mean, looking at this article here, it looks like Jenkins had 17.5 sacks with 6 games remaining in his 4th year. So this was sometime towards the
that's grand total. You're talking about
grand total. Yep.
Yeah.
And Zadarius Smith had 18.5 over his first 4 seasons.
Now, what did Smith have these last 2 seasons, though? I think this past season he might have
They've
scored
gone
like
up.
10. I think he had like a 10 or 11 sack total.
Yeah, I mean, but we're signing him at year 4, so really we're at the same barometer, relatively same barometer.
Right.
But there's 2 examples.
But it seems like one is growing a little bit faster than the other. But if you're just looking at paper.
Sure. So you got Zadarius Smith on an average of $16.5 million per year over 4 years is what he signed for.
How much?
$16.5 million a year.
Okay.
Per. And then
really,
Preston Smith signed for $13 million per year with the Packers. So Packers signed both of those guys.
Yes.
So I don't think we're going to get that 7.5 done.
Mm-hmm.
And my concern is he product of the system, or is he he's going to go out there and get 7.5, 8, 9, 10 sacks on his own per year, and we're going to overspend for him. So that's my challenge with that. I struggle with that because I don't think 7.5 is going to get it done.
Well, it all depends on the guaranteed money as well, and I forget how much I hit him with as far as how much percentage-wise he gets to keep, which is basically guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what's up with that. I think Jordan Jenkins plays. He is your typical, from a GM's perspective and a team's perspective, 3rd round pick. We drafted him in the third round. Third rounders are looked at as guys that will eventually start and be productive. He's grown each and every year, and he is a third round pick, and he has been productive and trending upwards every single year. So I think he is a valuable player. I want to keep him. I'm willing to up it a little bit more.
Where's your max?
I'm not going over $9 million for him.
I think we're gonna
or 9.5.
I think you're at 10. I think you're at 10, between 10 and 12. That's what I'm saying. I think you're between 10 and 12. You're not going to get this guy for 9.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you who. Well, you know what? I'm going to move on.
Sure.
Right? Because then I'm going to get into my free agency, and this is one of the hardest guys, to get, and I finally friggin' signed the guy. But I'll talk to you in a minute. So we said Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole, who was another tough one who rejected me like twice before I signed him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking at some other numbers, but I got him for $8 million a year. Slot corner, $8 million a year. Slots are usually a little bit lower than, say, your split out corners.
Sure.
And $8 million a year. Cap hit of $5.6 million. Okay, and I look at Poole as highly valuable, and we have to re-sign this guy. I think slot corners are one of the hardest positions to effectively fill. We need the guy. And he's already displayed to us. And then I have Kelvin Beachum, and as you can tell on the outline here, it's question mark. I want to re-sign him, but in my free agent acquisition that I did after I got back home, I was able to sign him, and I signed him for, if I remember correctly, I think I signed him for like $10.5 million a year. And I forget what his cap hit was. But on this sheet here, I have a question mark, so I may let him hit free agency and see what I can get. I'm not sure, but I think I definitely want to sign Kelvin Beachum. So now, moving on to...
Before you move on,
go
I
ahead.
think Brian Poole, you could probably get him for the $8 million.
Okay, good.
I think you can get him for the $8 million. And Beachum, I think I'm with you. I think it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Depending on what I do in the draft. And I think he'll still be there at that point in time. I don't think people are like rushing out in order to grab this guy. But I think that after the draft, depending on what I do in the first and second round, if we have an offensive tackle starter that we're going to plug and play on the left side, then obviously let him walk.
Yeah.
And if not, then he's a re-sign potential.
Yeah.
So, someone is going to sign Kelvin Beachum who loses their starting left tackle to free agency.
Yeah.
So that's where that domino falls.
Yeah.
As soon as the signings start to happen, someone will say, all right, I need, maybe I'm going to draft an O tackle in the first round, but I need somebody to make sure that I have, my quarterback's blind side protected. So I think that happens. So if you're going to re-sign Kelvin Beachum, you're going to need to do it
before
early.
The draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do it before free agents.
Yeah.
So, but my question is, how many left tackles actually hit free agency? Not a lot, right? So that's where it's.
Isn't that how we got him? Because Jacksonville let him hit free agency.
But it was off injury.
Yeah.
I mean, he was trying to rebuild his status at that point. He came from the Steelers, going over to the Jags.
That's true.
Right? And then he got injured.
Hurt his knee.
Yep. Right. So he was trying to recover his, just recover his status and ability to sign a contract at that point. So that's why we got him on the cheap.
And it was the same way we got Clady.
Yeah, Clady was a terrible investment, and you know how much we paid? We paid like $10.5 million for Clady for that 1 year,
right? And
he was done. So we caught him on his regress. He wasn't like, ascending upwards at all. The thing about Beachum, if you look at his numbers, I think he only let up 4 sacks during the season, and with an offensive line, you're only as strong as your weakest chain. And I think he graded out in the mid-70s.
It was 67.1.
Oh.
Yeah.
67.1 PFF, huh?
Yep. 67.1.
It's not, no. It's not. I mean, I think the fact that we had a terrible O-line brought him down.
Sure. And he didn't play all the games.
That's true.
Right? So you're talking about 4 sacks in a shorter time frame. It wasn't over 16 games either.
So hey, that's why I have question marks by his name, and I didn't. I'm kind of letting them kind of hit free agency, I guess.
What do you think, Kyle? I mean, you're going to sign him before the draft, or do you not sign him at all? I really haven't seen what your side of the fence is.
I think that you probably you probably have to have him locked in just so that you have a little bit of room to maybe throw him over at right tackle if you sign the left tackle. So
Was that a yes? I don't know. It sounds like you were hedging.
It's a yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's a yes. I re-sign him for the same reasoning that I was talking about with the corners. You want to make sure that you have actual starters on there. We started Agoba, who made $200,000 last year, 2 games, I think, and that's what we were using to protect our foundational franchise quarterback investment. That's scary when you really think about it. So when we think about what we could do with Beachum if we don't start him at left tackle, that's probably the reason why you sign him more so than because I think if we have to sign him and start him at left tackle again, we haven't really progressed very much.
Sure.
In that position.
So what do you slide him to right potentially, and what do you pay him?
I'm not sliding him to right.
What are you sliding him to? You're going to put a new tackle
to
right?
the left.
Yeah, I'm not.
To the left.
I'm gonna put Beachum right back there at left tackle, and I'm gonna tell you why. Jumping ahead a little bit, but I am zeroing in on Jack Conklin. I really am.
This guy's reeling him in like he's
I want this kid,
fish.
And he is a right tackle. He was an All-Pro as a rookie. Okay, he got hurt.
You love this guy.
Yeah, I do. Got hurt.
That was a great setup for Brandon, by the way,
yeah,
Brian.
Yeah, totally. Got hurt, fell back a little bit, but then came back this year and is on the ascension once again, and blocked for Tannehill, who had a career year, and blocked for Derrick Henry, who was the leading rusher in the NFL. So, and hopefully they don't re-sign him and they let him hit the market, because I'm throwing money at this kid, and I'm gonna jump right to it. How about that? I'm throwing at this guy $14 million a year with a cap hit of $9.8 million. I'm throwing it at him, and I'm gonna put him in the position that he plays best in, the position that we already know him for, which is right tackle. And then I'm gonna sign, if that's the case, I'll just sign Beachum for less, right? Because he's not as good of a player, but he already knows the left tackle position. I want people to be put in position for them to allow themselves to be able to perform the best and to succeed. Jack Conklin is a right tackle. We'll put you there. You know why? Because we need a right tackle anyway. Okay? And then let's re-sign Beachum. Boom, for however much it is. What did we say? 10.5 or whatever it is?
He has – I just offered him 11
for who?
and
Beachum?
12. Yeah, and he's rejected both.
Beachum has.
Yeah. So
how much did you guarantee?
45.
Jump it up, man. Give him 60.
All right. So you're saying 11 for 3 years?
Oh, you doing
4 years?
Let's give him 3. He's 31 already. Let's give him 3 years.
3 years.
Thus guaranteeing a little bit more.
65% guaranteed.
Yes.
Offer rejected.
Ooh.
Please, I'm not. Listen. I'm with.
How much fun is this?
I love it, bro. I love it.
So, listen. So those are your top 2 guys, right? So you have.
Oh wait. My top 2 guys for what? What do you mean?
Free agency.
Guys, while you're doing that, I'm going to keep negotiating with Kelvin Beachum. And
go
I'm
ahead.
Tell you
go ahead.
When he accepts.
So listen.
No. My top 2 guys are Jack Conklin and Joe Thuney. Those are my top 2 guys.
Thuney.
Yeah.
So wow. So you got Thuney, you got Conklin.
Thuney. Over there sounding like Joe Pesci or something. Thuney. Hey, Tony. Hey, whoa, hey, what do you say there?
You got Joe Thuney.
I know we're from Long Island, but relax. You
got Conklin.
Yeah.
And and Beachum, right? So all 3 of them 10, 12, 14.
And I've re-signed Alex Lewis for $5 million a year, which is
3.5.
3.5.
It's change.
And you know what I'm doing?
Pocket change with a little lint.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, hey, whoa, wait, come on, yeah. Let's go get a cannoli afterwards. Huh?
But you got Beachum at 10. You got Scherf. Well, you didn't got Scherf. You have Conklin.
I don't have Scherf. Conklin
and Thuney,
because Conklin is also an All-Pro, just like Scherf, but he's younger. Because I want my guys to grow with my quarterback. I'm going youth. The 2 youths.
The 2 youths.
Go with the 2 youths. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Okay. So listen, I Brandon Scherf, My top,
Okay.
right?
So Kyle, can you?
What do you guys? Hold on a second. What do you guys think is most important to Kelvin Beachum? Amount of years on the contract, money per year, or percentage guaranteed?
Percentage guaranteed.
I just offered him 14 mil. For on a 2-year contract with 80% guaranteed, and he rejected it.
Why don't you give him 2 years? Why don't you give him 3 years for 13 with 70% guaranteed?
13 for 3 years.
Yeah, and 70%
with
guaranteed.
70 guaranteed.
Yeah.
Rejected.
Man, then you know what? Get him out of here. Get that dude out of here.
I think the question with this is how much are we willing to pay? How much are the Jets willing to pay for Kelvin Beachum?
Well, the last 2 years he made his base salary was $8 million.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's going to take 10 million, 12, 4. I don't think it's going to take that to sign this guy.
I wish I could offer him. I wish I could offer him a healthy signing bonus on this app.
Why don't you give him 10 for 4 at 70%?
10 for 4 at 70%. Yes. I don't think that has any chance. I offered to do 14 for 2. And you think 10 for 4 is going to...
Well, we're increasing his longevity and guaranteed money. So let's see what happens. So, yeah.
At what? You said at 80%, 75%?
Let's go 75 then. I originally said 70. Go 75.
Rejected.
So then, we reject him. Let's reject him. He's out of here.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Yeah, goodbye.
Rock-a-bye, baby.
Rock-a-bye, baby.
Who's starting left tackle then? Who do you got at left tackle?
You're drafting you're drafting the left tackle, right? To me, you're drafting the left tackle. You have enough talent there that is available to you. I think you just let the first round come to you and you draft the left tackle.
Yeah.
And then you got Conklin on the right. Mm-hmm. And in my,
well, worst case scenario, then you put Conklin on the left. You see what I'm saying? Because I was putting Conklin on the left with on the right with anticipating signing Beachum, but I'm not paying Beachum. Like Conklin agreed to $14 million a year. I'm not paying him more than Conklin.
No, heck no.
No way.
No.
I mean, he's a right tackle though.
Yeah, I know. But this guy is a significantly worse left tackle.
Yeah, but we have a righty quarterback.
PFF 67%.
We should be paying our left tackle more money than our right tackle. Okay. I mean, doesn't that make sense?
In an ideal world, but if you draft one, you're not going to pay them more, right? Because they're rookie pay scale. You're going to pay them less anyway. So if you draft the left way. Well, I mean, it's not the only way.
It's not the only way.
The reason why we're not just jumping to resign the guy is because his Pro Football Focus is 67.1.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was that talented a left tackle, we're not letting the guy go and we'll pay him whatever he wants. But we don't have that top tier left tackle at this point. That's why we're even having that conversation. So now when you're talking about Conklin, listen, in recent times, because passing is so important at this point, right tackle is just as important as left tackle.
Yeah.
And we saw the turnstile that we had at right tackle, and that's where our sacks were coming from. We're coming from the right side, man. I mean, they were getting whooped.
And up the middle.
Hold on a second. I'm going to start doing this again because I think I was writing down the millions wrong.
Okay.
All right, so they're requiring you to put out the whole number. So let me go back to some of those numbers that we threw out.
This guy was paying him $400,000.
Yeah,
no, I was paying $40.
$40. Oh, you're funny.
40.
Look at this.
Reject. Yeah, $40. What is this guy talking about? Wasting my time.
So you keep doing that. So let's see here. So I have Jack Conklin, $14 million a year cap, and I offered him a 4-year deal. So $14 million cap hit, 9.8. I have Thuney. Thuney is getting $10.5 million. $10.5 million. 7.35.
Breaking news.
What is it?
We just signed Kelvin Beachum for $10 million a season for 4 years with 70 guaranteed.
Probably paid him too much.
Right, and he feels lucky.
Yeah, he feels lucky.
Right. And he feels lucky.
That's what we call
suckers.
This is what we call operator error.
Right.
Yes. Operator
error.
Yes.
And we just gave him a raise because he was at $8 million the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, no wonder. I will reject your offer of $40 a year.
Please don't sign it. Please don't sign my deal.
Can I tell you now the two
What?
people who I had the hardest time signing?
Who?
Matt Judon over there in Baltimore, Edge. I
Not-
was like, gee whiz.
Not signing him.
You're not signing
So you
him?
got
I like him.
Boris.
I like him.
Scott.
No,
Scott
not
Boris
not because of talent. We already have that guy on our roster. He's called Jordan Jenkins.
But we need another guy on the other side to complement him, and this guy has more sacks than him
But it's based
and
on
more upside.
But again, it's based on are you overpaying for somebody that's there? I'd rather spend the money on a Robert Quinn, who has 12 sacks, who's more a history of having sack totals.
He's 33 years
little,
old.
little long in the tooth, longer in the tooth.
Yep.
But 12 sacks,
Like
I mean,
Sabretooth.
that's okay though.
Okay.
So he's gonna come in spot just third down. I don't need him to come in and do 3 down linebacker, 4 down linebacker.
How much you offering Quinn? All right.
The Mighty Quinn? I'm gonna offer the Mighty Quinn about 7 to 8, 7 to 8.
2-year deal.
Yeah.
Let's see if that works, Kyle. Can we do that? Is that all right? Offering the Mighty Quinn a 2-year deal?
I don't know if you see the little hand here that is hitting.
Oh, yeah.
But all right, you got. I'm not set up right now to offer a free agent.
Okay,
yet.
got you.
So
So
I'm doing one more scenario with
Yeah.
Beecham to see if we can get him cheaper, and then
Okay.
I'll forward myself through.
give Beecham 9.5 or 9.
I'm gonna try.
You know what? Try 7, bro. Try 7.5 on like a 3-year deal and see if he accepts it.
He's not going to do that.
7.5 on a 3-year deal.
7.5. He just got
Percentage. How much? Like
percentage?
75%?
uh,
70? 50?
Why not? 75%. Why not?
When you read the whole setup and they tell you how to kind of go about,
Okay.
What happened here?
What did he just accept?
They say 30% is considered like someone of high value. So we're like offering like 50, 60.
Right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's too much. What?
He just accepted 7.5 for 3 years with 75% guarantee.
Sure, fine. Okay. I mean, I was wrong in saying that
so-
he wouldn't accept it, but I'll take it.
So it looks like we were just kind of
Way
far
off on the
with-
numbers, man.
with-
So
yeah,
which
with-
means we could probably get him like $6 million a year for 2.5 year. No, not 2.5 year deal.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
But-
you
but
give him a
3-year
$3 million signing bonus.
But this
And
is
then-
why I love this site, because this forces you to really put your GM hat, and then you're like, dag, I offered too much. I could have got him for X, Y, and Z. And when you move on to the next thing, it shows you, it gives you this big list of such and such re-signed for this amount, this amount. This way you can gauge your approach, you know? So it's really awesome.
What's the offer you want to give Robert Quinn?
Brian said 7 to 8. 7 to 8.
7.5.
7.5,
Yeah.
2-year deal.
Yep.
And then you can play with your percentage just to try and guarantee him coming in.
50% guaranteed. I'm not going to do much more than that.
How many years?
2. Because he's like 32 or 33 years old now.
And give him 70%.
No, 50%. So why you doing that, man? Who was your number 3?
My number 3,
Yeah, free agent.
I have Jack Conklin. I have I have Chris Harris, because we need a cornerback really bad. And Chris Harris, $12 million a year, $8.4 million cap hit, and I offered him a 4-year deal. I forget how old he is, but I either
He's in the 30s.
He is?
Yeah.
Daggone
That's why I
it.
wanted Byron Jones, because he's 27.
Gotcha. So then you know what? Let's switch that up then.
Okay.
Hopefully he would take that. I think Byron Jones probably be more expensive.
A little more.
And I also like the guy from Tennessee. What's his name again?
Logan Ryan?
Logan Ryan.
Mhm.
You know, and
He played more safety, though, than he played corner.
Did he?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right.
I had him on my fantasy club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll stick with Jones is gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a lot of money.
But Dallas is going to let him walk.
yeah,
Because they have
to.
too much stuff. They have their hands full.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they're going to let him walk, and I think he goes out there, and I would pay. I'd pay for somebody like that who's put in the work. He didn't come in the league highly touted, but he put in the work, got to where he's at. Was their top cover corner, won their MVP award.
Yep.
Not in 19, I think in 2018, won their MVP award. So he's somebody that's I think should be on our team, and I would pay money in order for him to be there. That way, we don't have to worry about corner as much in the draft.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, listen, I'm fine with that. There's also who else is out there? Cornerback. What's his name? Bradbury or Burberry or something like that. Who's a pretty good corner.
Cadbury egg? Is that what you're talking about?
It's not Easter yet, toy boy.
It's coming soon.
It's coming soon.
You know who I saw out there,
Who's
and
that?
you know, I had a couple of question marks of folks that I felt wish list.
James Bradbury is his name. Jimmy Smith, Chris Harris, who's a little bit older. Kyle Fuller's out there. Logan Ryan. You know, Eli Apple. Don't want him. Aqib Talib. You know, but go ahead.
So I saw Chris Jones.
Chris Jones,
Defensive end, Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets re-signed. So these are, you know, he
Yeah.
probably gets re-signed. But you know, if not, you know, you got Shaq Barrett out there. I think he gets re-signed out
do I.
there in Tampa Bay. But you know, negotiations break down. What about an AJ Green? If the injury comes back okay, you check him out, comes back okay. Where do you throw him in there as far as a free agent acquisition that you get a Sam Darnold? Is that somebody that you go after? You're not paying him $20 million a year, right?
Nah,
He's not
no
going to be
way.
top, you know, because he's damaged goods. But
Only Cooper. I'm going in that way.
Right.
If I were to go
Can
that
they-
way.
Can AJ Green still stretch the field? You know, that's what we need. We need a guy that's going to stretch the field. That's
we?
why Robbie Anderson's still in play.
But if you're talking
Yeah,
about, but if you're talking about CD Lamb or you're talking about Judy or something like that at your number one draft pick potentially, and you throw AJ Green out there, the wily veteran, who
So you're saying in addition to?
yeah, in addition to not just your own, because we got to get two. We have to get
Yeah.
two starters on the outside.
Yeah.
So you have AJ Green on one, and I mean I like him, and if he's healthy, you like him better than Robbie Anderson.
Well then, you know, just to kind of go in the direction that Kyle's going in, let's just say you sign AJ Green. We kept because we ran the numbers on keeping what's his name? Oh my goodness.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
We already have Crowder. What if then now we're like, all right, we don't necessarily need to go for a receiver with the 11th pick. Let's just stick with either Wirfs or you know, one of the other top linemen. You know, would you be satisfied with having Robbie Anderson, AJ Green, and Crowder?
Yeah.
AJ Green being 32 years old at this point now
Well-
and coming off of a season, you know, where he didn't even play at all because he's been hurt.
Well, understanding that this is a deep draft for wide receivers.
Yes.
And so I think in the second round and potentially in the third round, you can get one of those LSU guys that are coming out of the league.
Jefferson.
Yeah,
You can get Jefferson in the second round.
Absolutely. So you get Jefferson in the second round. I contested catches. He's a burner. You know, I think that's somebody that you can plug and play. And, you know, if AJ Green goes down, Jefferson becomes that number two on the outside. And, you know, you got Anderson on the other side, two burners. I'd feel comfortable with that. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to know where everyone's headspace is, you know? Yeah.
I think that the scenario that you just described, either way, is an upgrade from what we have currently.
100%.
So I mean, are we so rock bottom at receiver that anything is an upgrade? No, I don't really think so, because we made a major free agent signing last year in the slot that panned out as best it could based on the situation of our offense. I think he was one of the shining lights of the offense. Robbie Anderson, you sign him thinking that he's trending up, and then that other number 1/2 that you put in there, you keep Quincy in when he turns out healthy. He has the potential to be a 1/2. If you sign a former number 1 that's coming off injury, that person also has the chance at worst to be a number 2 type. And either way, you're in a better situation than you were the year before.
And you take that Anunwa money and you throw that towards AJ Green, right? You cut him.
It's not even that much money. It's
2.1.
2.4. Yeah,
2.4,
it's not
whatever.
even that much money.
Right. But and listen, honestly, I'm gonna let Robbie Anderson walk because he already said that he's not giving the Jets a hometown discount. So that hometown discount is what we were talking about at probably like $10 million. And he's
Of course he's going to say that. You have to say that.
I get
Yeah,
it,
but he
okay.
may not get that on the street. You know, you have to have a partner for that.
maybe
And
you know, but he's looking for 14.
Okay.
Okay, and somebody may give it to him. You know, like maybe the New England Patriots might give it to him because they need weapons. You know, part of this whole Tom Brady thing is the fact that Tom Brady's 43.
Look at my face.
And
Now, they're not going to pay Tom Brady. and they're
It's not
gonna
about
pay.
it's not
No,
it's
no.
not about not paying Tom Brady. Tom Brady can get whatever he wants. He willfully declined a lot of that money so that he can have people, sign people on the team.
Does that sound like a Bill Belichick move to sign Robbie Anderson for $14 million off of the street? This just doesn't sound like
It doesn't sound
a
like
Patriot
it,
move.
but
to
you
me.
never know with the pressure now, with this dynasty that they've created, the pressure now that Tom is putting on the Patriots
Sure.
organization. So he may concede here and there to little things. Maybe Robbie Anderson is one of those little things because they have no one to stretch the field.
So why don't they just pay Amari Cooper and just call it a day?
They could.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
Right. So I just don't see them paying Robbie Anderson his freight. Right. I see them saying, "You want 10? I'll give you 10. The Jets gonna give you 10."
Mhm.
I can see them saying that. Right. I can see them paying Amari Cooper his freight, full freight, because they know he's a proven talent. I can see that happening.
Uh-huh.
But what I can't see happening is them paying Robbie Anderson at the top of the market, somebody that hasn't proven that he could do anything besides be a burner down the field. That's where mentally
you.
I'm just not where
I hear you,
I'm
but
not there.
availability and market, drives these prices up. And he's a healthy guy. He is a guy that is a pretty good player, and I don't want to pay that for him because we've already fully assessed what he can do. I think he is a really good number 2 receiver, and we would need someone like an Amari Cooper to have him complement or have them complement one another. They can play the whole yin and yang of the receiver game and complement each other to be able to be successful receivers. But I don't know, man. And then how is he going to act when he gets his money? You were the one that was like, keep him out of Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like we're not saying that about anyone else. I don't want to give $14 million to him. I really don't. I don't want to give 13.
I don't think there's anybody around this table that wants to give Robbie Anderson $14 million.
I don't
There's
even want to give him
nobody.
10, to be honest.
Oh, I give him 10, but
I
I'm
don't even
not.
wanna give him
14
that.
is not where I'm gonna be
Yeah.
at. And he's been by all accounts, as long as he stays out of the state of Florida, he's been he's been a model citizen, man.
No, he has. He has.
Yeah,
I don't mean to beat him up that much. You know what I'm saying? But he's not running the full route tree as well. I want guys that can just, that's why, man, if things go the way that I want them to go here, according to my projection, let's get Conklin, let's get Thuney, let's draft in the 3rd round the best center available. Let's re-sign Beachum, give him a 2 to 3 year deal, 3 years, right? 3-year deal, and let's re-sign Alex Smith to be the left guard. Our O-line should be, in theory, set. And then we're going to play this free agent game. I'm willing to go grab Cooper. Oh, by the way, after this whole thing that we're talking about with all these players, we still have between 30 and 35 million left in our cap space. This is to sign up people and other free agents that we may have missed, and your middling players to fill out your roster. Go ahead, Kyle.
I have an update on the Robert Quinn negotiations.
Uh-huh.
Our initial offer.
He's Adam Schefter, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Our initial offer of 7.5 was rejected. I had to take it up to 9 and add a year onto it in order to get it accepted, and that was through about 5 days of free agency.
Wow.
So he initially declined, but then accepted a 3-year offer of $9 million per, with 60% guaranteed.
$9 million per, 60% guaranteed.
That means you're pretty much gonna pay both of your edge guys the same amount of money, and hope that they both have the same amount of production. If you're getting 16 to 20 sacks out of both your edge guys, like combined, that's not so bad.
No, it's good.
Good. That's pretty good.
One gets 9, the other one gets 11. That's awesome.
Yeah, that you're especially when the real strength of your defense is your linebackers and your safeties. So if they can take up that much, and then potentially if our 1st round draft pick from last year, the 5th defensive tackle that we picked, actually pans out
Yeah.
better than Ed Oliver,
He's got
then
I knew he was going to say Ed Oliver. I knew it. Gee whiz.
gee whiz. But I mean, we have all our D linemen pretty much signed, right? Except for McClendon. Is McClendon? Do we have to re-sign McClendon?
Yeah. We have the ability to cut him as well. That would save
He's
us
signed.
about 2.5.
He's signed. Yeah,
he is
he's
signed.
under contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to re-sign him or anything. He's
Yeah.
under contract.
And honestly, I want to keep him.
Yeah, me
I
too.
want to keep him. Yeah.
I think our front line, based on what their skill set was to begin with, we got a lot. We're getting a lot out of Fatukasi and Bless Austin, the two.
Getting a lot
the
out
two
of
New
Phillips
York
too.
guys,
That guy
you
Phillips
know?
getting a lot out of Phillips as well.
Absolutely.
So Phil, you got to remember Phillips' story too. Phillips is on the team because we cut Polite. Two rookies that the Jets had to make a decision over. They cut bait with Polite. Polite is not on a roster. I don't even know if he's on an XFL roster, right?
Worst draft pick ever.
I'm gonna look that up. But at least as bad of a draft pick that was, and we can never get back that draft capital, right? That's a 3rd round draft pick.
Yes.
Or 2nd round.
3rd.
I mean, disgusting. Makes me want to throw up in my mouth. But
Definitely.
the call to keep Phillips instead of him, I think could pay dividends for years to come. So we'll see.
We'll see. So hey, listen, guys. This to me was such a great episode. A lot of brainstorming and spitballing here about potential happenings and free agency and all that. I hope you fans out there really liked it. We listen, after we're done, we're going to be texting one another and trying different scenarios again as far as sitting in the GM chair trying to be our own version of Joe Douglas. So, Joe, we're coming after you. You better do the right thing in regards to the New York Jets. Kyle is hooked. Yep, yeah. So, yeah, man.
Negotiating.
Totally. So thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme.
Meow.
So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page. Find us on Twitter at BKBK podcast, Instagram at BKBK podcast, as well as on YouTube. Just type in BKBK podcast, hit the like and the subscribe button, and just show the love, all right? And keep watching our show, man. We're going to keep bringing you that funk. And if you can't watch us, you can just listen to us on iTunes. Go to bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com. That's it, guys and girls. Let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. And let's go Team BKBK. Woo!
Shout out to Kerry. What up, Kerry?
What up, Kerry?